Jackson, everybody. Hallelujah. And we're going to start by centering, but I'm watching the clock, but because before that bell rings, we want to have Reverend Jackson especially have a word to all of us here. This young lady has a voice. I never met her before, but something said just go over and say something to her. She was nervous, but I said, look, will you just sing a line or two for us? Just sing a line or two for us. Are there any other theomusicologists in the house? Any of y'all? If they're not in here yet, tell them your name. Kamaya. Now I want you to do that big voice you have that's down there, your mama, your grandma, all the church folk. This is going out to millions of people around the world, right here on Pantherland. So whatever's on your heart, and then let's celebrate Kamaya. Come on, y'all.
Walk with me, Lord, walk with me. Walk with me, Lord, walk with me. While I'm on this Jesus journey, I want Jesus, walk with me. Hold my hand, Lord, hold my hand. Hold my hand, Lord, hold my hand. While I'm on this teacher's journey, I want Jesus to walk with me. Be my God, Lord, be my God. Be my God, Lord, be my God. While on this Jesus journey, I want Jesus to walk with me.
Come on, your best self. Y'all give it up for Kamaya. Yeah. Yeah, walk with me. That's all right. That's all right. Thank you. Now I didn't know her before we walked in here, but you have to be in a movement. You can't always put the same voices up. You got to be open. And she's an MPA student. This is a poor district, poor school, right? And any leader that doesn't want to put the impact of people up front is just on an ego trip. And we ain't got time for that. So what we're going to do now is, in this piece, is everybody sitting up here? We're going to ask y'all to take the cameras down if you're up in here for a second. And we're going to start. I see you got your mouth full, so we'll come back to you. Right. But we want to start right here with this crowd. And I want you to take your best 45 seconds. That's longer than the Gettysburg Address, which is one of the most powerful speeches. And I want you to say to the world why you're walking, not just here, why you're walking, why you're willing to walk with us on June 18th, why you're in Congress, why some of you gone to jail, and why is it that you understand that coming here must be more than nostalgia. From your perspective, from where you are impacted, because you're not just doing this for others, you're doing this for yourself. Your best 45 seconds is on camera, it's going out all over the world, and keep me on time because if we get too close to 2:45, we're gonna stop and we're going to let Reverend Jackson, and I am going to make an adjustment for the Arbery family. Okay, we got that. We got it all worked out. So we got a camera. So let's talk. Give your name and your best 45 seconds to these students understand why here on the 57th anniversary of Bloody Sunday. And just talk to the world. They're here. We need a mic clear. We need a mic on. Mic. Turn it on. All right, spray this one. When nothing stops us. Say forward together. Not one step back. All right.
Thank you. Hey children, how you doing? Well, my name is Queen, and Southside, the children, I have already decided to organize with the Southside children. I came to Selma in 90. My name is Queen E. Jackson, and I've been in the movement a long time. Hands up, don't shoot, I can't breathe. I went to jail on the Edmonds Pettus Bridge in 2015. But I'm here in Alabama because my grandmother marched in 1965. She was the woman who told them to kneel and pray. So I know that I'm a freedom child. I'm a freedom child, and I'm just carrying the torch for Aunt Sweetie. Thank you.
You gotta be COVID safe. Young man, why are you here, and why America about this moment?
My name is Marquise Hunt. I'm from Hampton Roads, Virginia. And the reason that I'm here is because I am simply in the struggle of my father, my grandfather, my great-grandparents, and so forth and so on. And I think one of the things that we often do subconsciously as young people is think that the struggle begins with us today. And so I'm here for a recommitment to the fight that our ancestors have made, not only in 1965 or 1963, but before that to simply gain access. And now that we do have access, I think that our fight should be more to make sure that we have the full fundamental right of all the things that have already been introduced to white America that Black America has not yet had to offer.
The question is, what kind of access do we have? It's not just a battle for Black folks. The fight for voting rights, like you're for. Let's talk about access. I want you to take 5 seconds and say, because that's an important point you make. It's a powerful point I want you to make.
So what's the question?
And the question is, in America, right now, if you see what's happening, sometimes when we have access, we gotta go further. But are we seeing an attempt to take away access?
Absolutely. There is an attack on the idea of access to make sure that people have what they need, because the reality of it is access from America is simply to make sure that I can give you what I want and not what you need or what you can also get access to on. And so when we think about, for example, just going to take a quick moment here, the stimulus checks. If you didn't need $1,200 for a stimulus check during the pandemic and you need $1,200 now, why can't you go get access to the $1,200 versus the time that they gave to give it to you at that particular point? So that's the conversation around access.
That's a powerful point. In fact, rather than give me a stimulus check, why don't you just pay me a living wage and then I'll have the money. So this is the kind of, we're not here remembering. We're out here because this is our Edmonds Pettus Bridge right now. We got 2 cars that got to move. The principal say, give them to me. What are they? Got 2 cars. Got a GMC, Georgia plate. Don't want to call you out, but got to. We got a Highlander with Mississippi. Highlander with Mississippi out front, Georgia plate out front, gotta move real quick. Gotta move. So let's say, where are you from and why are you down here? All this sweat, got your braids coming all out, got your hat on. I mean, are you just down here because you looking backwards? So what's up?
Hi, my name is Lena Uddybeck. I'm originally from Detroit, Michigan, but I'm here on behalf of Dillard University. I am a go Blue Devils. So I'm an urban studies major and I'm a sophomore. And I'm here today to fight because there is an attack in all capacities, our healthcare, our education, water, just everything right now. We're in a really tight time. So I'm here to fight so that we can get equal and equitable access to opportunities. I think that's the biggest thing. You know, we want access to things, but we don't have the same access to things. We need more. And, you know, I'm just glad to see all these young faces out here to learn. You know, you're here and you're witnessing history. And Reverend Jesse Jackson is here, so that's very important. And today is Bloody Sunday, so that's why I'm here, to learn more and to grow.
She said, right. Did you hear what she said? You've been talking to Jesse, because Jesse said you can have freedom and not have equality. Right? You got freedom, but you don't have equality. And that's battle of this time. Somebody say 55 million. Say it loud, 55 million. That's how many Americans will lose the access they had in 2022 if we don't have a fall. I'd say 2 trillion. That's how much money billionaires make. Say 8 million. That's how many more people fell into poverty since COVID. Doc said at the end of this month that segregation was a stratagem used to intentionally keep poor black folk and poor white folk from coming together so that they could form a powerful political bloc that would change the economic architecture of the nation. That's why y'all are so powerful. My dear sister, talk to us where you're from around the world.
Hello, everyone. My name is Marissa Pittman. I'm originally from Memphis. However, I currently serve as Chief of Staff for our SGA at Dillard University, and I helped organize our trip to come today. Ultimately, there has never been a successful movement for our rights without the work and diligence of young people with the wisdom of elders. And I'm here today because there's a lot of work that has to be done in order for us to have a more equitable society moving forward. These issues such as climate change, equitable funding for HBCUs, healthcare, equal education, all of these issues start with us having our power to vote and actually vote to make change in our community. So I'm here to fight for that and to say that we won't go out silently while our votes are being attacked.
Somebody write that down. We won't go out silently. New chant for the movement. Say, go out silently. We're going to take 2 minutes and then we're going to switch because of the time, because of the students that are here. Young man, where are you from?
Y'all, you can call me Patty or Pat. I'm coming from the great state of Indiana, and like thousands of and folks all across this nation, I don't have a home to call my own. And when we think about the difference in commemoration and commitment, and back home in one of the parks where me and my folks stayed, my friend, we found him frozen to death in the morning of Christmas Eve after the police had performed 3 welfare checks throughout the night. And on that bench, his name is on that bench, but he didn't get to sleep on that bench because there's a car in the middle. And that speaks to that difference between commemoration and commitment. And that's why I'm here.
So if you believe in that America should not be walking away from homeless people and we should be guaranteeing housing, then you will be in the fight for voting rights, because the same people that suppress voting rights, suppress housing rights, suppress living wages, suppress education, and take us to war needlessly. All of it's connected. Somebody say it's all connected. Young brother.
Hey, my name is Tony. I'm coming from Memphis, Tennessee, and I'm just angry that politicians and big businesses are here to celebrate Selma and Bloody Sunday instead of seeing this as a call to action. And I just need, folks need to understand that the voter suppression that we're seeing today is the worst voter suppression that we've seen in literally decades. And voter suppression is bipartisan. It's not Republican or Democrat suppressing the vote. It's all across the board. They're all working to suppress the votes of poor and low-income voters. And like Reverend Barbara is saying, over 50 million voters are at stake of losing their access to the ballot, and living wages, environmental poverty, healthcare, childcare, build back better, child tax credit is all at stake. In this moment, we are called to the movement and we have to get involved.
Did you hear the brother say, I'm angry? Look, anger is a necessary part of the movement. Instead of getting mad, you lose your mind. Anger, the word means and grief. It means you're grieving over reality. And when you really get angry, then you start working to remove the thing that's causing you to be angry in the first place. You don't have to sin because you're angry, but you got to organize if you're angry. You got to mobilize. Thank you, brother, for bringing that in the room. And thank you for reminding us that corporations, did y'all know the main people against passing the Voting Rights Act, restoring voting rights and living wage is the U.S. Chamber of Commerce? The U.S. Chamber of Commerce. It's not just some crazy senator who's talking to you. Got deeper than that. The U.S. Chamber of Commerce is against voting rights, restoring the Voting Rights Act, against living wages, and against health. But they will put a little money toward a festival. But then they will turn right around and also give money to a senator who will vote against your rights. Keep your eye on the prize. All right? We're going to break because we got these minutes. There they are. We want the Arbery family to tell us why they're here and why they're here and why all around the world, why they're here. All the family. Brother, raise your hand, Arbery. Where are you? Stand up, y'all. Where are you? We got 5 minutes. She's going to take one of them and say why they not only were concerned about justice. We're going to tell them. They're going to tell you who he is. They're going to tell you why, even though they've got a court case and some people have been put in jail, they are still in the movement and they understand the connection. So my dear sister, tell them who he is, tell them why you're here, and tell them why y'all ain't going to turn back.
First of all, giving all and how everybody doing. We're not letting our foot and our necks off of nothing in the state of Brunswick, Georgia. We have come a long way. We have learned how to connect and stick together as one, because how this happened, we're not giving up. We're letting the system know this was wrong, how they done my nephew. They murdered him in a broad daylight, 1 o'clock on a bloody Sunday. It was a bloody Sunday. They took his life away from him. And we're not letting go on nothing. So continue praying for the Arbery family. We're here because of his freedom. Because we see that it's God's freedom to yesterday. We done the walk. And my brother just got back from that 13 miles walk. He done it. Because he's the type that is not giving up on nothing. I don't care what it is, what is going on. My brother's not giving up on nothing. Guess what? His siblings going to stand behind him every step of the way. Anytime he needs us, we there for him. He made sure everybody else wanted to get out. Like I was one of them to say, I'm not walking, but guess what my brother said? I'm going to take this walk all the way to this end, and that's what he done.
Real quick, Brother Arbery was shot down, 3 white attacked him. They said that he had done something to him. They filmed the killing, young folk. The video didn't come out till later. They thought when they put the video out, people would join with them. This happened before George Floyd. Most people didn't know anything about it. The mom and the father kept fighting. They had to went through 3 DAs. Barbara Arwine, who's sitting right there. Barbara, stand up, raise your hand. One of the most powerful lawyers in this country. Wouldn't turn it loose. And finally, they had a conviction in state court, and then a conviction in working in federal court, but it shouldn't have taken all of that. The brother was shot while running and dreaming. That's what he was doing, running and dreaming, that's all. But they are here because they understand. Yeah. Martha, say his name. Say his name. Say his name. All right. Now, we got 2 minutes because the bus is going to roll. We're going to stay here because we still got some stuff to get on camera. But we got Reverend Jesse Jackson, and we've got Reverend Liz Theo Harris, and we've got Miss Arbery, Miss Arwine. And we're going to break this 4 minutes up like this. 2 minutes to Reverend Jackson. This is not the only time we're going to talk. 2 minutes to speak, 1 minute to Liz, 1 minute to Arwine. That's going to get us to the bell, and then we're going to come back. Don't tell me y'all can't. Give it up for Reverend Jackson.
came forth in Washington in 1963. I was one black person in the whole South in 1963. Zero Junction, Atlanta, Georgia. Today, as a black mayor in Birmingham, where we built the church in 63. As a black mayor in Selma, Alabama, with March in 1965. Black mayor in Tuskegee, Alabama, where they did experiment on our people. There's a black mayor in Montgomery, Alabama, with a boycott lunch. There's a black mayor in Mobile, the launched the first, the last slave ship landed. Say, when we vote in March, we matter. All those who 12 or 8 will be 18 by November, please say. Be 18 by November, please say.
18 by November. Stand up. It should be 18 by November.
Stand. Senior stand. Senior. Say, I am somebody. I am somebody. I matter. I matter. In my mind, can conceive it. In my heart, can believe it. I know I can achieve it. I am somebody. I am God's child. Let me hear you scream. Now, I want all the in this school, Mr. Principal, who 12 started students, 6 should be 18 by November. Come across the stage and diploma in one hand and where's the principal? On a voter card in one hand and a diploma in the other, all right? All right. There's 50,000 high school seniors in this state. Your vote will make a difference. My friends, there are 3 million high school seniors in America. We vote, we can determine who president is. The senator, the Congress say, I must vote. I must vote. My vote. My vote. Make a difference. Make a difference. Love you guys.
Yes, sir. Did you hear him? My vote must make a difference. He said, when you graduate with a diploma in one hand and a voting card in the other. Give it up for Reverend Jesse Jackson, his service, his commitment. Reverend Liz Steele Harris.
Just brief greet. It's so great to be here. Yep. Have a safe trip back to your home. All right. So we are living in a nation that is the richest country in the world. And yet there are 140 million people who are poor or one emergency away from economic ruin. And that is not right. It does not have to be. And so I am marching on behalf of communities all over, on behalf of my family, my kids who go to school with 70% kids who are living below the poverty line. And on behalf of my family members who do not have health care, who do not get living wages, who have experienced homelessness, discrimination, and all forms of injustice. And I will keep fighting alongside people till we win, till we win.
Somebody say, until we win. Now, the students had to leave because we were a little late, but the live stream gone. There are hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people literally on live stream. That's why I was saying keep on, keep on. So continue to talk to the nation. This is being cross-posted and under-posted and all kind of posted, all right? And so that's why we're doing this town hall like this. Give it up for Fire Rose and her continued work and the work that goes on throughout Barbara I1. And then we're going to go back to people that are done.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Yes. You know, the only reason why I ever went to college in the first place was because I wanted to help people who were poor. The only reason why I went to law school was that I wanted to practice against the only, and then I became a racial feminist. And that's where I spent my time in racial justice. But I say we are here because this moment calls for us. It calls for us. It's screaming for our presence. It's screaming for activism. I'm so proud to stand here, not just because God has given us the strength to come together, but because of the beautiful people that He's brought into this room. I want to give a shout out to my sister Latasha Brown, Oh yes, black voters matter. I don't know where my brother Cliff is, but Cliff is in the house. There he is. Yes, I want to give love because love's been given to so many. But I want to give love to them because I've seen the work they've done. And God knows it's our partnerships that are going to make the difference. And they're going to lead the march on Wednesday. So let's get out there. Let's be there. I will never stop this battle. As long as God gives me breath, I'm in this battle. On the battlefield. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Hold up 1 minute, Father. Let me go back here because we said what we were going to do. And the scripture says, we are not of those who shrink back unto destruction, but we are those who persevere. I left this young lady. I promised her we're coming right there because she came down. Why is it, as a young person, that you are here and that you are engaged, not just this week, but why is it that you are engaged? Come on, talk to the country, talk to the world.
Hi everyone, I'm Hannah. I'm from Maine and I'm currently studying to become a minister in Boston. I'm a Christian and I'm a member of the LGBTQ community, and those combinations of identities really compel me to understand this message of liberation. It's really found in the Bible. I had a really impactful Easter last year, and it really taught me that resurrection is a real thing. And right now in our country, resurrection means collective liberation. It means tearing down these systems and building new ones. I'm so grateful to be here with all you today. And really the reason I'm here is because someone else brought me here when I was invited. So I just hope that we can continue doing that.
Did y'all hear the sister say resurrection is a real thing and real resurrection is collective liberation? Did y'all hear that? I think we ought to grab that. Thank you for dropping that. Thank you for dropping that in this room. Let's give it up for attorney, our council leader, Fire Road.
Real quickly, I really appreciate all of y'all being here, but I don't think any of y'all know how bad Selma is. I really was disappointed that all of those big HUD, this is one of the poorest cities in the Alabama, in Mississippi. Those children, that ain't no Jesse Jackson. They never heard of you. I walked into a school the other day and they thought I was supposed to point because I was considered
differences, and I also want to connect the voting piece to the economic piece, because sometimes we miss that, and sometimes when we just focus on voting, our message is too narrow. When we focus on voting as a black issue, that's right, and she brought Dr. King's home. That's right. And sometimes we have to connect the voting piece with the economic piece, and folks may not know that not only was my great aunt beaten on that is bridge, she organized in Selma for decades, but she was also one of the residents of Resurrection City. She was also part of that 1968 Poor People's Campaign. She connected the dots like so many others that were there in Selma, all the foot soldiers that were there in Selma, that also came and joined and became part of Resurrection City because they connected the voting piece to the economic piece. That's why I'm here today. That's why I'm keeping pushing, and that's why I'm still fighting.
Thank you. Connect the dots. Somebody say connect. Somebody said May 1963. That was the first mass meeting. It wasn't in 65. It was 63. We got 3 months off. The March on Washington folk were already in Selma. You got to teach this history. Boynton met King in 54. Jesse, right? In 54, she met Martin Luther King. Oregon versus Virginia. Her son. 19, what year was that? 1960. She ran for Congress in 63. But she wasn't doing this for a person, as an individual, but as a movement. Because it's forward together. Now what is that? It's not forward by your damn self. God didn't create a monoverse. God created a universe. Why you here? Why you here? Somebody, why would a white man with a cowboy hat be here with all these black young folk and that? What's going on?
Thank you, Dr. Barber. I'm a son of the South. I grew up in Mississippi. And I remember when Brown versus Board of Education was passed because my mother pulled us aside and told us black kids and white kids, we couldn't play together anymore. And that's how I knew that it had passed. So I got involved in the Civil Rights Movement. In Jackson, Mississippi, in '68. I've been there ever since. Got involved in the labor movement. And one thing I found that it's not a person's consciousness that determines their well-being, but it's their well-being that determines their consciousness. And we can unite poor whites, poor blacks, Latinos around them. Reverend Jackson may not remember when he ran for president in 1988, the international paperwork that got locked out in Mobile, the largest paperwork in one building in the world. They locked out. They didn't go on strike, they locked them out. They went to the white presidential candidates to get support, and they wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. Michael Figures and I got in touch with Reverend Jackson, and he came down, and a union that had been led by the Klan stood behind Reverend Jackson and the workers that were locked out, and we won. And we broke the Klan after that in that point. And so I'm just here to say that it was led by the Klan. It broke it wide open. So we know it can be done. Alabama is number 1 or 2, the most industrialized state in the union, but it's about number 3 in poverty. What does that tell us? And when we talk about the labor movement, we're not just talking about the union movement. We're talking about those that get out and labor and work these sub-minimum wage jobs, minimum wage jobs, can't make a living there. This is a labor movement. Also the homeless.
Somebody say, teach it here. Other things that I got to teach some of this stuff because popular history doesn't teach it. The media, like they'll tell Alabama's a red state. Alabama really is a red state. Nor is Mississippi, nor is Tennessee. They're unorganized states where people have been deliberately separated. The margin of victory in every southern state is less than the number of poor and low-wealth people who don't vote. And not even 100% of it. In most states, it's less than 25%. But they tell us we can't come together. And if you believe that, you never try that. And if you believe that, you're not even honoring what really happened in the South. Blood was shed, it wasn't just black blood. I think James Reed got killed, and Michael Wilson, and Emily Jackson, and countless others. So let's get in the movement together. And Swan Good Change, that's a very diverse group. It's simple. But the power, somebody said to me the other day, his story, he says, you know, the reason there was so much attention on Alabama, and Reverend Jackson knows this and others know, is because of that great history of unionization where people had come together and the bosses started pitting white and black workers against each other.
Check the focus.
And Dr. King saw that. That's why he spent so much time at the end of the 7th Montgomery movement focusing on economics. Go read that speech and listen to it. It's amazing. I hadn't done it. I repented for it about 2 years ago because I had just gone along with it. How long? Not long. I mean, you know, they get us hooked on the hook just said, not the substance. Yeah, just that one. How long?
You're automatic and you're focused on the back. Don't worry about it.
At the end of
Actually, back up just a little bit.
He was talking about bringing folks from Alabama and Appalachia together. In 65, there's no way in the world we can have an agenda today where voting rights simply becomes a special interest of black folk. April 4th, that was said, April 4th, this coming April, we're going to West Virginia. It's going to be a big mass thing with Rainbow and others and us on Charleston. We're releasing a major report on the 3rd on what has happened to poor people during COVID. And then on that Monday, in cities all across this country, people are going to be saying, walking in the middle of the street, June 18, 2022. And then on the 5th in West Virginia, up in the mountains, black and white folk, white women and black mothers are joining together with 25 other West Virginian groups to do their own Selma March in West Virginia on Highway 19, right past in front of Manchin's house. There's something happening, y'all. But it's happening with the folk that want to bring everybody together. And it sure ain't happening with the folk that just want us to look at one or two individuals. My sister Callie, you've been out here. Why here you come walking again out here with Barbara Howard, got your straw hat on. Why is it? Why are you sitting beside him? I mean, what?
What's up, Dallas County? What's up, Dallas? My name is Kelly. I'm living in Selma, Alabama now. You all know me from walking with Reverend Barbara Cooper's campaign. My daughter Venus. I left with health care here in the state of Alabama, in Montgomery, Alabama. Venus should not be dead. We just celebrated her life being transitioned. February 23rd was 9 years. We have not stopped. We refused to stop. But it didn't start with the Corpus campaign. I started with Fire Road, the SOS. Same night. You got to be together. And I also worked with Dr. Bernard Sampson with the NAACP on the first Medicaid expansion rally in Montgomery. And Venus got a chance to speak for herself one time. And she passed away about a month later. So, one time for herself. One time.
not people like me. The greatest artwork are the impacted people who have the greatest character. And we need to support them and not take away from them. The problem is about the unity that needs to speak to America.
Yes, and so I continue to find. I lost a son to God. His name was Mercury. Yes, it is Mercury. Yes, it is what it is. And I've lost both of my children. But I continue to speak their names because they still live in me. As long as I speak their name, they will be alive. And I know that I'm not the only mother that has lost children and family members for the lack of health. I'm trying to see where y'all at. Somebody else could be holding his mic. I know there was somebody to marry somebody in their family because you didn't have health insurance. You got folks dying right now. They're dying right now as I speak to you because they do not have adequate health insurance. We got friends like the road with hookworms in the ground in their front yard for sewage. They got no water line. What we gonna do? What we gonna do? I used to sit at home and watch soap operas. It almost killed me on the bed. I had 2 more minutes sitting in that house. I had to get out of that because I don't know how to die. It killed me. That's not sitting in me. I don't know why you got that.
Because it's a live chroma key. So.
I go pass you my torch that I give you. June 18th, 2022. If you get around downtown or in the state of Alabama, holler at me. I got you. I'm gonna register you. I'm gonna do a t-shirt. And you're gonna get to the DC. Come on now.
Come on, say it. Ain't got to die for you to stand up. Moses ain't got to die for Joshua to be in the fight. Paul ain't got to die for Timothy to be in the fight. Huh? So tell somebody, say, look, I ain't passing you my baton. Or my torch. She said, I'm not gonna give you I'm not passing you my torch, I'll give you a life. I'm gonna give you a life. And if we light it up, somebody say light it up. Do you all know why June 18th is happening that week? Because we said that every time we did something in DC, it would be 3 things. Number 1, it would be closest to the summer solstice. June 21st, when the light is closest to the earth, because we need to shine the light. Secondly, because the Congress is still in session, ain't no need to go there and they're not somewhere around it. And thirdly, because you cannot have moral implementation until you shift moral imagination. Right. Now the next day is June 10th. But the point is, on June 18th, we're saying that somebody else ain't got the memo. They didn't get the memo until June 8th, but the country hasn't gotten the memo that they think we're going to continue to accept what doesn't have to be accepted. Every legislator that is a voter suppressor also blocks health care. Same people brought that. And if they are sinister enough to be together, we better be smart enough to come together. Jesse, I was up in Eastern Kentucky. We don't go around and get this to Mike and Mark in a second. We were in Eastern Kentucky with the Hatfields and McCoy. Eastern Kentucky, y'all. Eastern Kentucky. Where they say basically you better not come up here if you look like me or if you. And everybody told us it was Trump country. We went up there and we found human beings. Right? And we sat in the room with them and we put a map up in the room. And Barbara, it was your map. You didn't know we took some data about remember Liz, about the shame. And we showed all white audience pretty much. And we showed them all the voter suppression. Then we showed them all the people in their state that was voter suppression. Then we showed them how the people that suppressed the vote also took their union rights and were taking their pension and their water rights and all. And so a guy stood up, Rev. Johnson, in the back. He was a real Hatfield, like the Hatfield McCoy, the one that chased each other like on that old Mountain Dew bottle. Y'all remember that? Young folks don't remember that old. He said, Rev. Bob, show me that map again. I said, no. He said, that's right, that map. I said, okay. I said, said, here are all the, here are all the, me and Liz were lecturing. I said, here are all the politicians. And they tell y'all they're against gay. They tell you all they want prayer in the school. They tell you all they're working on voter fraud and political suppression. Now watch this. These are the same ones that's taking your health care, knocking your news. And that Hatfield said, and this is my 3 cuss limits, I can't go no further. But I didn't say this one. He said, well damn, they playing us against each other. And I said, so what we gonna do about it? Now, we organized in 5 counties, never endorsed the candidate, but he said, you all need to stand up. In the next election, 3 of those 5 counties went so-called blue. If people get an understanding of how they're being played, you may not get everybody, but you're going to get a significant somebody. And that's what we're trying to do. I want us to honor the monks that are here from the Buddhist community. And the reason why, because when Buddhist monks show up, and they have thought, and they don't move unless they really move deep and dedicated. And when they say they walk in the back of my, they ain't asking no camera, they ain't asking, you know, they're doing the back of my, listen. But when the monks will move like that, something, they don't connect themselves with stuff that the spirit ain't right. They will not do it, because they'll meditate a long time before they get involved. So I want to honor them. I want to honor them for coming. They ain't going to say a lot, but the presence says a whole lot. Yeah. And this, then I want to give this to Liz and Mark to go around the other half of the circle, and then come back to it, just people saying, we're still live streaming all across. And then we got to have a little conversation about what we're going to do for the next day, for health reasons and for security reasons for y'all and everything. But my sister, what can you do?
I'm here. Good evening, first of all. I'm here because I learned how important voting was when a mob was murdered. Me and my family had to come up with 3,500 signatures to remove Jackie Johnson. When they added it up, it was about 7,000 signatures. Me and my family, we walked in the sun sometimes 8 and 9 hours a day. We didn't get no credit, but we removed that junk. We did that. We sat in the front of the courthouse 7 weeks straight. They tried to ban us off the property. Miss Barbara made call for people, we pay taxes. They don't have to move. In the rain, half of us got sick sitting out there. But we stayed out there till we got a verdict. When the judge said guilty, my brother said, now we're going to move on to the federal. I said, we with you. Wherever you got to go, we're going to be with you. We sat to the federal building on them hard benches almost for 4 weeks. Before we can get in the courthouse, they got script search us every day. My brother about had to take off his clothes off before the courtroom about his son. But you know what? We did it. One day she told me I had Mace in my pocketbook. I don't even know what Mace looked like. But I never took it. I still walked in that courtroom and sat in there 4 weeks with my brother till we got a guilty verdict.
Now, all these folks that did all this dirty stuff to Marcus and the family, they were elected too, right? Yeah. I just want y'all to see, so I heard somebody say, well, I'm marching against police violence. And then they said, but I don't believe in voting. I just kind of had to sit with that. You know, it's the kind of thing make you just sit down and say, because all the folks we stand with, the DAs, the judges, the sheriff, they all up in there. So you can't say you're against somebody shooting people down if you're not working to vote them down. Or vote them out. Y'all give up a list. We got 7 more people that are gonna give remarks, and then we're gonna figure out they go from here.
All right, I'm gonna come on over to this side. Hear from others that have joined us.
Why you feel like it's so important to march, why you have to be here today, and why you have to get your voice out into the world.
Hello, y'all. My name is Jeremy Gray. I'm from the city of Seoul, Jackson, Mississippi. I was in Washington University in New Orleans, Louisiana. The reason why I think it's important to be here today is because I think being here today is the hope that the people who are here in the past had. I was thinking the hope that they had, the hope of the people who did the Freedom Summer in Mississippi, the hope that they had to break Mississippi, to encourage us to vote. Just keeping that hope that the system can change, that we can become better as a country and as people. And, you know, I just think that as a political science major, I understand how important voting is. So, knowing how important it is, and right now I'm doing research into the war on drugs, you know, seeing how politics basically call and how impactful it can be, you know, having that knowledge really makes me think that, you know, being here, encouraging people to vote is so important. And I will say though, while I do think that voting is an important way to move forward, it's not going to be the only solution to this problem. Unfortunately for us, our problems are so widespread, so systemic, that it's going to take some multiple solutions to really move forward as a country. But I know through hope that we will do it one day. So that's what I watch.
Reverend Jackson, I know that he's going to need to step out. He wants to say a little something. We're doing this because it's live stream, it's being filmed. This is so important. So would y'all mind if he wants to say one more thing to us, and then we're going to celebrate him as he takes his rest. Amen. And let me just say something to you, Reverend, in front of everybody. And I want to say it to the world. We got you. We got you for all the stuff that you did when most of us wasn't around. And I want to say this to all of you. All you got to do sometimes is just show up. We got to work. You done it. Just show me. God, give me on this. And the folk can take me. Give me on this. Moses is not supposed to have to do certain things. Sometimes the purpose of Moses is just to come and sit on the stage with the movement in him and the land. So, Rev, I just want you to know that, because I know something is spoken is. But as far as this movement is going on, we got you. If you don't feel like the 3 minutes, we got you, right? If you just want to show up and be on the stage for 5 minutes, we got you. If you want to interrupt, we got you. Sometimes if you just sit there, you can just shout at the fact that your neighbor has not and continues not to be in vain. Because we got you, man. I say that with everything in me. And the reason I say that, I was a senior in college. I was a junior. And Reverend Jackson, I'll never forget this. We all got our meetings, but I was a junior. And he came to be in this auditorium. And we had been trying to get folks to meet, but they didn't come until he came, because of the cameras and all. And they came. And then all of them wanted to jump in front. He ain't know me. He said, "Is that the spirit of the president?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "That's what I want to introduce me." And some of the political folks, no. We here. And Rick said, And he put me up to introduce and speak him. and then took us to the chicken hut. I got mad at him because he called me double helper, but we'll deal with that later. But when we got to the hut, the lady offered to pay his meal. Watch this. Reverend says, no, pay one of those brothers out their meal. I can pay. And then for the next 2 hours, he poured into us. And there were folk that wouldn't spend a time with us when we were young. Right? This man said, he told all of them, back up, I want a student. I want a student. And he's carried a lot of folk that ain't never said thank you. So let's say thank you. Let's let him have a word. And then let's be back to you.
The balance, and I caught COVID and attacked my body because I had 2 shots already. It went to my pockets. I could not walk except for 5 weeks. Couldn't speak a sentence for 5 weeks. So I was walking. I'm marching all the way to one day. April the 4th, that's when Dr. King's commemoration, we have a mass rally in Charleston, West Virginia. Bring people together by Appalachia and from Allegheny Mountain, Charleston, Virginia, New Nelson and C. London as well. A massive rally and let people speak themselves. If they raise $50 an hour, you would take $450 out of poverty. You fight $50 an hour. Say amen to that. The second thing is that I don't love the government, I love the country. That's my country. So my country. My country. I'm a government, I'm trying to change it. Third thing is simply this. Leroy Johnson, the only black official in the South, and not in Washington. He's the only one, probably. Yeah. Leroy, one black official. He said he was going with us alone. He's been I'll get back in the right back. When he went to 47 states, 50 cities trying to get license back. He's all these things. Governor Maddox got in trouble. His son got in trouble. He was put him in jail. He spoke up for Maddox's son to give him the second. To impress Maddox. So Maddox said, Bishop, Maddox said, when we went, he said, I want to do it for you, I will. So I haven't been able to second chance, and then I'll leave. Maddox said, well, I'll send them to Kennedy, keep you alive. I changed my mind. I can't say anything on that one. So Governor Sanders, former governor of Georgia, represented them. In one case, I'll leave that back in the ring. One man, one light, and all the dogs that listen. So one person. One person. Make a difference. That's one thing, listen, my friends. You here in very sharp moment. Took you out of my high school senior registered vote because 3 years ago. Couldn't be different by 130,000 votes. Ford, Bush, go about 530 votes, 3 votes matter. Now, people make their progress. It's like there out in Birmingham. So there's no more votes under that. Some of them no more block there. And the Mobile, there's the trip, last station, Montgomery, where the locks up turned in the bus, and Tuskegee, Alabama, where the different so there is hope in the house. Hope in the house. Hope in the house. I'm Christmas, we're doing this round too. April 4th, I repeat, April 4th, I have a meeting. I want all those meetings with you. We have a Greek, white, black meeting. Coal mines are hard workers in America. You put 3 miles on the ground, 2 miles on the ground. You're going to need to set sheets of coal all day long. Every 6 hours, black coal mines dies and black coal beats a day. 6 hours. 6 hours. 6 hours. Coal mines dies. And I'm an active person. Y'all know me because I'm So we can all be famous. We can all be famous. We can all be well known. We can all be great. All necessary. I'm famous because I'm great. Great is to serve people. I want to say yes for like I'm here for y'all. This is our time, my son. You represent joy and hope to me. Joy and hope to me. And those are two types of markers we put in the house. I ride in one house, put that mark there. It says the normal soul. You mean so much to me. All right? Yes, sir. Next day, we want to do 18. Then we know this is the gospel. And we move, we never lost the battle. Never lost the battle. We fought. We won the battle. Let's go forward. We won the battle. Then we fought. We won the battle. Let's go forward. We fight the righteous fight. We win the battle. Thank you very much for having me. Give it up. We want to continue the car. We're going to take 5 minutes for the election. Some of y'all in the cars, they're talking about they're trying to tow because it's called 2 tow trucks because they parked on 80 where it started. There's something strange going on. All right, so we need folks to get back.